All right, let's just get right into it. Today, we are breaking down a pretty intense way of thinking about mental power. It's a raw, unfiltered guide for building yourself back up when life, well, decides to hit you with everything it's got. You know, the whole philosophy we're digging into today, it starts with this piece of brutal honesty. There's no heads up, no time to brace for impact. It just happens. And right there, in that moment when you feel like you're breaking, a choice appears. Most people, they just crumble. This whole mindset, it's for the ones who decide not to. And that's really the only question that matters, isn't it? When it all falls apart, what is your next move? So this explainer, we're going to walk through the source's answer. And let me tell you, it's a calculated, cold, and strategic path to not just getting back on your feet, but achieving a kind of dominance. So where does this all begin? It starts inside. The argument here is that before you can change anything out there, you have to win the war inside your own head. It's really a battle between your gut instincts and your conscious will. Now, this is where things get really interesting, because it all boils down to this one fundamental choice. When the weak mind gets hurt, its first instinct is to run towards comfort. Distractions, addictions, blaming someone else, anything to just numb the pain. But the strong mind, according to this philosophy, it does the exact opposite. It actually seeks control by leaning into the discomfort, by sharpening its focus, and by immediately starting to plan its next move. And this is such a critical distinction. The goal is not to become a robot, to feel nothing, not at all. It's to feel everything, the rage, the betrayal, all of it, but to stop those feelings from taking the driver's seat. You learn to observe your own emotions almost like you're looking at data on a screen, and then you decide what to do.
And you can see the results of that discipline right here. Instead of exploding with anger, you choose strategic silence. When people try to manipulate you, it just doesn't work anymore. Your focus becomes this sacred thing that you protect at all costs. And ultimately, your mind starts to obey your will, not just your gut feeling.
The source material is super clear about this part. When you make the shift, people will notice. And by removing your emotional reactions, you're basically taking away the levers they used to pull to get what they want. So when they call you cold, this mindset says that's just them admitting their old tricks don't work on you anymore. Okay, so once you've started to master that inner world, how do you project that power outward? The strategy then shifts to reshaping your actual reality. This isn't about asking for respect or hoping for a better life. It's about re-engineering your circumstances so that respect is the only logical outcome. And here's the game plan. It's this aggressive, three-step process for taking back your own story. First, you absolutely destroy any hint of a victim mentality. Life doesn't owe you anything. Second, you consciously kill off the old, broken version of you. And third, and this one's big, you don't waste a single breath trying to explain how you've changed. You just demonstrate it with actions that are impossible to ignore. And this is the core belief holding it all together. You have to separate what happened to you from who you are. The pain, the trauma, those were events. They aren't your identity. According to this way of thinking, they were simply tests. And you either pass that test by evolving, or you fail it by letting those events define you forever. All right, now we get to what the source calls a critical vulnerability, attachment. It's basically when you hand over the keys to your own happiness and peace of mind to someone or something else. The second your well-being depends on an external factor, you've completely lost control. This table draws a really sharp line in the sand. Attachment is framed as a weakness. It's based on needing something from the outside, which leads to you compromising yourself, and it just drains your mental power. Loyalty, on the other hand, is seen as a strength, but it's not loyalty to other people, it's loyalty to your own principles, to your own mission. And that brings clarity and protects your inner peace. Okay, so this is where it all comes together. This is where the internal mastery and the external strategy finally merge into what the source calls the unbreakable mind. This is the end game. Man, I think this is such a powerful way to look at things. Pain is no longer something you just have to run from or grit your teeth and bear. It becomes a diagnostic tool. It's like a flashing red light on your dashboard, showing you exactly where you're vulnerable, exactly where your defenses need to be reinforced. And this slide, this is basically the tactical playbook. So an event happens. Instead of an emotional meltdown, you do a cold, hard analysis. You ask yourself, why did that hurt so much? The answer gives you a blueprint of your weakness. And finally, you take calculated, strategic action to eliminate that weakness for good. It's a constant cycle of improvement. Here, solitude gets turned into a weapon. This isn't the painful loneliness of a victim, it's the chosen isolation of a strategist. It's where you go to get quiet, to audit your own weaknesses, to plan your next campaign, all without the noise and influence of other people. And when you come back from that isolation, the way you carry yourself is completely different. Your goal is no longer about being liked or understood. It's about being felt. You start using silence and your own energy as tools. You're not looking for anyone's approval anymore. You're aiming for control and commanding respect. And there it is. That's the end state. The ultimate goal of this entire philosophy: to forge a mind that operates with cold logic, that sees the world with perfect clarity, and that is, at its core, completely untouchable by manipulation or external chaos. So as we wrap this all up, this philosophy really leaves us with a huge question to think about. In building this so-called unbreakable mind, are you actually achieving the ultimate form of self-mastery and power? Or are you just building an impenetrable fortress around yourself, leading to a life of profound isolation? That's the real question.